How's it going, gamers? This is John, Games31. This is a walkthrough of Starfighters Arcade located in Mesa, Arizona. This is one of my favorite arcades in the country. I'm not just biased because I live in this area, but this is a phenomenal arcade. I've been to a number of arcades all across the country. I've been to my favorite is probably Next Level Arcade, which is outside of Portland, Oregon. As the name would indicate, it is seriously next level. Highly recommend it. My second favorite one is probably Fun Spot in New Hampshire. They claim to be the largest arcade in the country, and it's huge. That's also a really fun one. But this is number 3 on my list, and this is a great opportunity to go in and check out some games. It's only $11 to enter, and once you're in, all the games are free to play. As you can see here, they've actually recently expanded their space, almost doubled their space. They have over 90 various pinball machines. They have over 120 various arcade games as well. And their pinball machines are a really nice mix of old school pinball to like modern. They're always updating their list. They're always doing pinball tournaments, all that good stuff. Look at that classic Buck Rogers. There's Addams Family, which is the best-selling pinball table of all time. Pirates of the Caribbean is a really good one by Stern as well, based on, of course, the movie. And there's a fairly new Alien as well that's currently not functioning, but there's some sit-down ones they're currently working on. Star Wars sit-down, Star Trek sit-down. That's actually a pretty rare arcade there. And what's also really like about this place is the ambience, right? The music they have on the wall. They're playing classic movies like Star Wars, Pee Wee Herman, Back to the Future, etc. And here's some more pinball games that they have. And there's a new Jaws. That's a premium edition. Actually, I own one of those. I don't have the custom lights that they added there with the speakers. It's a nice touch. Really fun pinball game, by the way. And there's Episode 1 Star Wars. Turtles Classic. I think Terminator 2 there is one of my favorites for sure as well. This is the new Labyrinth one that just came out. I think they just got it this week. If you notice here on the bottom, they have another second screen. So the playfield's a little lower for that second screen. I've never seen a new one anyway, like that. And they've got a really cool topper. I was able to play it, and it's just a really fun pinball game. I think it's Barrels of Fun is the manufacturer. It's their first one they've made. And so it's really cool that new companies are making these new pinball machines. Theater of Magic, classic one. They've added the LED lights there. You can tell that they've put a lot of work into this, and it's very clear. The owners who own this are passionate about it. They're collectors. They're a huge part of the gaming arcade community here in Phoenix, and you can just definitely tell when you walk in. There's a Shadow, which is actually one of my also favorite pinball machines. Not a great movie, to be honest, but the Shadow pinball, awesome. The upper playfield, phenomenal. I do own the Star Wars Dead East there as well. That's a great Dead East Star Wars pinball. I have 5 of my collections, pinball machines in my collection. Here's some more classic Atari games. A few of these weren't working. It's hard to go to an arcade game where all the games are working because they tend to go out, but they always do a good job updating new ones. And all that good stuff. They do tournament night, not tournaments, but they do tournaments, of course, but they also do trivia nights. So when I was here on Friday night, they were doing a trivia night. This place was packed, which is great. Great to see, and great to see it grow over time. It's like a time warp when you walk in this place back into the 80s, which I absolutely love. A nostalgia trip down memory lane for sure. There's Return of the Jedi by Atari. That's the 3rd one in the series, and a pretty rare game to find. I like how they put the TIE Fighter there on the top. That's a very nice touch. Gavatar, another really fun Atari game, currently not working, but a really fun vector game. And Asteroids. Here's the other side. I love the Turbo Outrun. That I sat down that thing actually moves with it. I love Outrun. It's one of my favorite racing games that Sega has made. There's Crazy Taxi we just missed, 1942. So they did kind of categorize each game by manufacturer a little bit, and they put them by erasers. Look at that old school Burger King sign, the Kool-Aid Man, really cool chill room. There's a Coke machine, vending machine. Crazy Taxi. Let's make some crazy money. Phone booth. When's the last time you saw a phone booth? That's crazy, right? Area 51. I like playing that with 2 guns at the same time. It's a lot of fun to play. Circus Voltaire, classic. AC/DC, Whirlwind, Elvira. I think there's 3 Elvira games total they've released over time. Rip Off. I can't say I've ever played that game. Gyrus, of course, classic. And the cool stuff on the wall, they have like classic vinyl artwork and from classic records, all that good stuff. Vanguard, Mr. Do. Every time I see that game, that reminds me of Saved by the Bell, because that particular Mr. Do, not that exact one, but that game was in the Max in that show. And I remember watching that show, loved that show growing up in the 80s, 90s, and just remember seeing the Mr. Doom machine in the background. And I love that game for that reason, to be honest. Here's some more Pinball. Medieval Madness, which is awesome. They've just recently released a remake of that. There's a new Halloween as well by Spooky, and that's a really fun one. Really fun game. If you've ever played that, I love that there's definitely a lot more pinball games coming out. This is the only cocktail game that they have in the whole thing. They only have one. On the wall there, they're playing Neverending Story, which is one of my favorite 80s movies. Star Wars Arcade. This is now in the back of the location. Aliens. Hydro Thunder, which is a 4-player setup. Super cool. This kind of got some classic fighters. Darkstalkers. Really fun fighting game. If you ever played that. Mortal Kombat, of course. X-Men. And then you got more pinball machines, right? Whitewater. Super fun. That's the Hobbit game right there we just passed. Here's a closer look at Area 51. I used to work at a movie theater. That game used to be at the movie theater. Terminator 2, The Shooter by Midway. Super fun. It's been ported to a whole bunch of home consoles nonetheless, but there's Venture. And on the side, they have a bunch of classic ones, right? So Pac-Man, Galaga, Tron, Gorf. They used to have Disctron as well. That might be somewhere in the back. I didn't see it on this particular trip. I know they used to have a Disctron, which is kind of an unusual game. There's a Star Wars. Love the topper there too. Super cool. A lot of times when they do get these games, a lot of times they're either LE or Premium Edition, so they're the kind of upper tier. Pinball machines are not cheap, so it's cool to go to a place like this, pay only $11, you get the opportunity to play them, and unlimited play, which is cool. Frogger, classic Sega game. Golden Axe. Space Fury. Zack's on the Corner. Space Harrier and Afterburner, classic Sega games. I love those. There's Outrun, Turbo. They had a sit-down one earlier that I showed you. That one's not currently working, but Outrun, as I mentioned before, is one of my favorite games. They have a DDR in the back. Super fun. This used to be the old part of it, right? So this should be the front, but they've moved some games back here. So they've added Turbo Jaws. What is this? Oh, Zaxion and Turtles Beat 'em Up. Family Guy Bowling. I've never seen that before. That's a really cool one. And NBA Jam Tournament Edition, of course. The Simpsons, I have both those. Classic games, 4 players. Smash TV is an awesome game to play with multiple people. Anyway, if you're in Mesa, Arizona, if you're Phoenix, Arizona area, definitely check out Starfighters Arcade. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. And, of course, game on.